What's up, Undisputed listeners? It's your boy, Sharpe. I wanted to tell you about my new podcast, Club Shay, where we always do something before two something. Each week, I sit down with a guest for a drink and conversation, and as host and proprietor of Club Shay, I've welcomed in esteemed guests such as Snoop Dogg, Floyd Money Mayweather, LeVar Ball, Isaiah Thomas, just to mention a few. Whether I'm talking to an athlete, a musician, an actor, or a lifelong friend, Club Shay is a place where people share inspiring and motivational stories about their journeys to prominence. The new episode drops every Monday on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to Club Shay now and make sure you never miss a new episode. Now back to Undisputed.
Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. We've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon. Let's get to it. Morning. Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Guys, happy Friday. How we doing?
Happy Friday. I do good. I do good. Yeah, I do good.
That's all you have to say?
You heard what my guy said. It's go time.
What is today? Oh, wait, maybe he'll miss tonight.
Don't do that.
Then
Don't do
get
that.
2 weeks off in the middle of the season.
You heard
right?
what he said. What did he say? He said the first half he goes like a 3-4.
Really?
He said then he turned to get ready for the playoffs, go to a 6.
I thought he said it's slow time.
He said go time.
Oh, he had his rest, a much-needed couple weeks.
Yeah, he needed that.
Halfway through the year, the Lakers far from done. Don't worry, we'll get to them. Guys, we have breaking news this morning out of New England where the Patriots are re-signing Cam Newton to a one-year deal worth $14 million, according to reports. But this apparently does not preclude the Patriots from making another quarterback move in the weeks to come. New England finished 7-9 last year in their first post-Brady season. So, Shannon, how good will the Patriots be with Cam back under center?
Skip, before I get to that, clearly Coach Belichick saw enough good in Cam before he got COVID that says, you know what? Another year removed from that surgery, get an opportunity to train, not rehab. I like what I saw. I like the way he practices. I like the way he meets. I like the way he approaches the game. I like the way he's the leader of this ball club, especially at all the opt-outs that we had. So I like what I saw. I want to see that again. Because, Skip, Coach Belichick ain't one of these guys, that's Cam Newton, let's just bring him back just cause. Coach Belichick is not the sentimentality type of a guy. Either you get the job done or you don't. But I believe Coach Belichick saw enough good in Cam that he's willing to run it back and says, okay, I want to see more of this, another year in this system, another year healthier, and I like what I saw. Can they, the question, that's a very good question that Jenny asked, Skip. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, they have the second or third most cap dollars. Now, that's not to say Coach Belichick's going to go blow it all in free agency, because that's not normally how he works, Skip, and he doesn't normally make these big splashes. He'll sign a Kyle Van Noy, or he'll sign guys like that that's been cast off by someone else. He brings them in, puts them into his system, and they normally flourishes. Now, he did spend top dollar for Stephon Gilmore, but from what the tea leaves that I'm reading, Stephon Gilmore might be on his way out. Can they be a playoff team with the opt-ins and the right piece? They're going to have to upgrade their receiver position. I'm also hearing N'Keal Harry might be available. But with the right pieces, Skip, I believe they can. I believe because there are 7 spots now, and they can possibly get that 7th spot. I'm not anticipating Cam ever being 2015 Cam, and that's okay. But I believe Cam, a year removed from surgery and another year in this system, will be better. So I believe they can be a playoff team, 9-7, maybe 10-6. The ball bounced their way. But I like this move. As Jenny said, it doesn't preclude them from taking another quarterback, but the likelihood of them taking another quarterback in free agency. Now, maybe the draft, but where they're picking, Skip, I don't know if Mac Jones is there, I believe they'll take a Mac Jones. But I'm not so sure that when the Patriots are picking, he might not even be there. But if he is, I believe they'll take him. But I like this move, and I do believe they can get that 7th spot. It's going to be tough sledding now because Buffalo and Miami, I believe they'll improve also. But I like this move for the Patriots. I like this move for Cam. I say 9-7, 10-6, outside shot at that.
I like this move for Cam Newton because I'm afraid without this move, he might have been done. I'm just not sure anybody else would have
done as a starter or done
in the league.
Okay.
Because I don't know if anybody would ever see Cam Newton as a backup quarterback. I don't know if Cam Newton would ever see himself as a backup, like a clear-cut number 2 quarterback who has no chance of starting. I just don't know if that's Cam Newton.
Okay.
The New England Patriots will not make the playoffs next year. So it's not a great move for them because they still seem to me to be stuck in purgatory between Tom Brady and the next question mark quarterback. Right. Is it Jimmy G? Well, now that seems less likely because they just gave Cam $14 million,
right.
Which is, again, it's not like big starter money,
right.
But it's pretty good money.
Yeah, bottom half.
Bottom half. He made $1.05 million
right.
last year. And I will be the first to admit he surprised me on occasion playing better than I thought he would or could at this stage and age.
Yes.
He also bottomed out.
He threw some stinkers in there.
He threw some stinkers. He was wildly erratic, wildly inconsistent, and in the end, wildly frustrating, I think, for Patriot Nation. Obviously, in the wake of Tom Brady, you're trying to fill the biggest shoes you could ever fill anywhere at any time. And I honor and admire Cam Newton for even having the guts to go in there and do it at a pretty high level. But if you look at how he performed over the whole year, the whole body of work, he did have to fight through COVID.
Right.
Missed one game, but you could argue COVID got him
right.
down the stretch, and he never was quite the same.
And that's what he said, Skip. I mean, and the doctors have said some people COVID does worse than it does others, just like surgeries.
Absolutely.
Some people, AD had surgery on his knee, Skip, and he was better than he was before. And then some guys are never the same.
Yep, I agree. Okay. But he threw for a career-low 2,657 yards, 2,657. He threw for a career-low 8 touchdown passes to 10 interceptions.
I think Dak had that many in like 5 games.
I think you're right. His Pro Football Focus overall ranking was 23rd best, 23rd among the quarterbacks, and his QBR was 30th of 33 qualified quarterbacks. So the truth is, in the end, he wasn't very good.
No.
Although we saw flashes of old Cam brilliance.
Yes.
We saw some MVP Cam flashes.
Yes.
Because that second game, that one at Seattle, I don't know where that one came from. You could say Seattle was terrible on defense, but I don't think they were terrible. I don't. And to do that on a big night, when it was Sunday night, I don't believe. At Seattle, he had a QBR of 77, but he threw for 397, which was the 3rd most yards of his whole career after the very first 2 games of his career. He starts off with 422 yards in his first ever NFL game at Arizona, set the bar pretty high as the number 1 overall. Then he goes to Carolina. No, I mean, he goes home. Goes home to Carolina to play Aaron Rodgers. And he throws for 432. And then that was that.
Right.
And never again did he approximate those 2 yardage totals, except that Sunday night game, 397. He at least got in the ballpark. So he had some big QBRs. The opener against Miami at home was 83. He had a 91 at the Jets. He had a 74 as they beat Baltimore. That was good. And then at the Chargers, he had a 65. Had a 71 to end it up against the Jets at home. And then there were a bunch of stinkers in the middle of it. He had a 6 against Arizona, a 3 at the Rams. He had a 4 in a home loss to the 49ers. These are horrendous games.
Yeah.
These are like bottom of the barrel for the whole league kind of games. So in the end, his air distance, the total number of yards that he threw the football to, not completions, just how far did the pass travel, he ranked 26th in the league because we question, is it the shoulder surgery? Have you lost some? Well, obviously he didn't have quite the cannon he used to have.
Right.
Tom Brady led the whole league in air distance, so he didn't lose anything on arm strength. To me, he just was what he always was.
But let me ask you a question.
New offense.
Where was Tom Brady when he was in New England in air distance?
I don't know, but that's a good question.
He wasn't number 1.
Okay. Maybe it's just not what they do a lot of. But again, I thought the cupboard was pretty much bare already, and it got barer because they lost Julian Edelman. N'Keal Harry kind of comes and goes. Rumors now that he's on the block.
Yeah, Skip, I don't think he's going to be what you thought he would be.
I don't think so. And then you got Demir Bird and Jacoby Myers. I don't know.
And you didn't even mention the tight ends.
Because I don't remember their names. They drafted 2 last year, and they did next to nothing through the year.
Well, what was the one that called you out?
I don't know. I can't remember his name. See, unfortunately for him,
you can't remember his name, so you
didn't
can't
back it up, did he?
No,
I do not remember his name.
I don't either.
Honestly.
I think he's from Virginia Tech, though. I think that.
All right. So is it possible Cam is just a bridge next year to a young quarterback? Well, after all the hullabaloo about Jared Stidham a year ago right now, we're talking about the new Tom Brady is Jared Stidham, as they're calling him Stid or Stiddy, right? What? He seems completely out of the picture.
Yes.
So I think Belichick has admitted already, I swung and missed on that one. What was he, a 4th-round pick?
4th round, yeah.
No.
Yeah, that project.
I think it's come and gone.
Yes.
Okay, so they're picking 15th overall. Mac Jones is not going to slide to 15, I don't think. Stranger things have happened.
Right.
But Mel Kiper has them trading up, but he had them trading up just in his speculation, his mock draft, because he thought Cam was not coming back at that point. So Mel had them trading up with your Broncos at 9. And to get there, it was probably going to take next year's number 1, the 2022 number 1, to go up from 15 to 9, plus maybe even throw in this year's 2nd-round pick. To get to the point at 9, he had them taking Trey Lance, North Dakota State. So, again, that's the one kid I don't know. I don't know
enough about him either, Skip. He opted out this year, so
I hear a lot of great things. Mel Kiper said it's the most intriguing prospect he's ever tried to figure out. Yeah. So I don't know, but again, has Belichick fallen in love with him? Would trade up there to get him? Possible.
Right.
If he's that good, if I'm the Broncos, I'm sitting there thinking, well, wait a second, maybe we should take him.
Well, Skip, the other guy from North Dakota State might have scared a lot of people off.
Possible. I never linked that up. I mean, it's not that the school keeps producing the same kind of quarterback, but the point is that Drew Lock, are you sure?
No.
Are you sure? No. I'm not sure.
They're not sure.
Because a lot of people think Trey Lance is it, like he might be the diamond in this rough right now. Well, if that's true, then Denver should take him. But the point is, if you're going to take a shot at Jimmy G, why would you give Cam that much money to be your backup quarterback? Because if you go get Jimmy G, wouldn't he immediately want to play?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I believe, and he would play. He probably would. Skip, I mean, what's Jimmy G? $20+ million? Obviously, they've already, 49ers have already paid so they can get out from under him. It wouldn't cost him anything because they've already paid the money up front. But Jimmy G's probably still making $22, $23 million.
He is. I think it is 23. Okay. So where are you going to go with that?
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
23 and a $14 million quarterback on the roster?
No, you wouldn't, because you still have Brian Hoyer, who's serviceable.
Right.
He knows the system. He's played there before. He's okay.
Right.
In a pinch, he's okay.
Correct.
He's played in playoff games. He's a decent backup. In some ways, he's a decent starting quarterback.
Right.
Okay. So now where are you heading? Well, it seems like you're heading toward either to your opening point. Maybe you're heading toward, I love Cam Newton. Like, hey, what's wrong with Cam Newton?
Right.
Okay, so Cam is now going on 32 in May. This will be year 11. Last year, he had his 2nd highest number of rushes in a season, and that's missing 1 game. Man, he takes a lot of punishment. Yeah. He just does. Well, how much does he have left in that body of his?
And the thing is, Skip, you say he took a lot of. I mean, he's a big man. I mean, you know, when a Mack truck gets into an accident, it does a lot of damage to itself and to other things. But when I look at it, Skip, if you look at Cam, if they upgrade the wide receiver, now look, here are some free agents that are available on the wide receiver market. William Fuller V, Galladay that played at Detroit, Corey Davis, tight ends, Hunter Henry, Jonnu Smith,
Emmanuel Sanders.
Emmanuel Sanders. Skip, is Coach Belichick normally, but he doesn't normally plunge.
You better.
He plunged twice. He plunged with Stephon Gilmore and Skip, I remember you, Adalius Thomas from Baltimore.
He did.
Fast, a good friend of mine. And that didn't work out because they moved. He was an outside. They moved him to inside, and it never worked for him.
Nope.
And plus, he wasn't going to let Coach Belichick talk to him like Coach Belichick talked to everybody else.
Got it.
But when I look at it, Skip, I'm looking at these names, although they're not Julio Jones and Devontae Adams, these are pretty big names on the free agent market.
Yep.
Is Coach Belichick willing to go, say, $14 million for a wide receiver? That doesn't seem to be his MO, because when he got Randy Moss, Randy was coming off 2 down years, Skip, in Oakland. And so people didn't view.
Not only down years, because I was close to the Oakland situation. He just quit on it.
Yeah, they were bad.
Whew.
They were really bad years.
And they gave him away to Belichick.
Yes, they really did. So
and he set records.
He set records. He was happy again.
Yep.
They used him the right way again, and the rest is, as we say, history.
It was.
The defense, Skip, you get all these opt-ins coming back. You get Dante Hightower. You get Chung coming back.
Will help.
Would that make it better? But I think their problem, Skip, is still going to be on the offensive side. Can they generate enough positive possessions in order to pay it off? Because I don't care how good your defense is. You keep trotting them back out there on the field, and you'll see what happens.
So, in the end, to me, this has 7 and 9 written all over it again.
No, they're 9-7. Skip, they went 7 and 9 last year.
That's what I just said. Written all over it again.
No.
Yes.
No. Hold on. So you tell me another year under this system with Cam.
Yep.
The guys opted in. Coach Belichick gonna make something happen. Now, he ain't finna keep bringing out nasty dishes, Skip.
How many times do you have to play Buffalo next year?
Twice.
How many times do you have to play the Miami Dolphins
Twice.
next year? Thank you.
And you might have to play the Jazz twice. It might be with Deshaun.
Now that would really, I'm not even.
Okay, when you put all that into the mix, this Skip, now I'm gonna have to reevaluate that.
Aha. So I am willing to put.
No.
I'll just put a tiny little 2 cases of Diet Mountain Dew. I'll go under 8 and 8, and you go over 8 and 8.
I get 8 and 8 or better.
No, you have to be come on, superior to 8 and 8.
Skip, that's better than last year.
Okay, but that's a good bet. That's a fair bet. I'll say under 8 and 8. That'll be our benchmark, and you go.
So if they go 8 and 8, neither one of us win or lose.
That's correct.
Okay, I take it.
2 cases.
2 cases.
Okay.
9 and 7.
Because I don't see how you're going to be able to compete in your own division to get past 7 and 9.
You know, we had Buffalo on the ropes. They had Buffalo on the ropes.
They did, and Cam turned it over, unfortunately, because he played well enough to win the game.
Yes.
Until
that was another game that he played extremely well.
He did. He didn't have he had a QBR 58 in that game, but I thought he played against that level of competition on the road.
He made some big-time throws, big-time runs, but forgot to hold on to the football on that last run, and they cost him.
I believe that both Cam and Belichick are up against it next year because what has Tom Brady been saying about the Buccaneers next year?
They'll be better.
We will be better. Just on pure continuity, repetitions, getting to know each other. But that's what Cam has been saying about New England.
And the thing is about the difference between Tampa and New England, Skip. Tampa going to try to improve. If there's a move out there that they can make, and they believe they can make them better, they'll go do it. They'll spin because this is the opportunity. As we say in this business, the window is open. Well, how many people can we get through this window to get on this team, Skip, to help us get not just one, because we already got that one in the bag.
Yeah.
Can we get 2 or 3 in the next, say, 3 years while Tom Brady's here?
That's the goal. Yep. Why not?
So if that means,
go for it.
Hey, I'll worry about the cap in 2023 and 24 and beyond. I'll worry about that then. But in the meantime, I'm trying to stack them Lombardis.
Okay. Meanwhile, back at the ranch in New England, Cam Newton said just the other day, the younger guys that are going to come in know me, but like we're going through our second year, our second go-round. He said, like, we're still trying to flush out the 20 years of how it used to be, and I'm going in and I'm saying, that's not me, meaning I'm not Tom Brady. I'm going to do it Cam's way.
You got to be you.
And it was more fun. It was more exciting. It was more outgoing. It was looser. It was tell a joke here or there. It's cut up a little bit. It's dance a little bit at practice. Just have fun with it.
Skip, do all of that.
Yep.
But win some games.
Got to win.
Do all that. Hey, tell all the jokes you want, all the music, money bags, whatever you want to play.
Got it.
But I need you to bring me some dubs on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays. Yep. That's what I need.
And I don't blame him for trying to change the mystique. But in changing it, you're losing it also. The Patriot way went to Tampa Bay, right?
Skip, people won't be concerned about the Patriot, won't be concerned about Tom Brady nearly as much if Cam starts to win. What made that way the way is that they won. And they won at a high level, and then they paid it off with championships. At the end of the day, nobody wants to follow a plan that's not working. This plan worked because Tom Brady won. Hell, I don't think Tom lost 50 games while he was in New England in 20 years. So when you factor that, and he got 6 Super Bowls, and he went to 9 AFC championship games, whatever you were doing, if you were stacking bricks in the morning and you can go to practice, do that. But at the end of the day, Cam, you can flush all that out, bro, but you're going to have to win because that organization and those fans over the last 2 decades has had the greatest run in NFL history.
They have. I'm just afraid that in year 11, there's not enough left in that body to get them above 7 and 9.
Well, you got half a tank. That's all you need. You like you say the Cowboys. It's half. I look at the glass as half full.
No, I look at it as 9/10 full.
No, they don't die for the Cowboys. They don't die. That's half a tank.
You're looking at this as completely full.
No. Cam won't have a tank. You can go a long way on half a tank of gas. Okay. Yeah, you got a Prius. You can go from here to San Francisco, I believe.
Well, he's like
close.
16-wheeler, right? That's what.
Well, you ain't gonna
that
go.
Half a tank ain't gonna take you very far.
No mercy. Hey, Undisputed listeners, I wanted to tell you about our brand new Fox Sports app and website, foxsports.com. Reimagined for the modern sports fan. Go ahead, download the new app right now. You don't even have to pause this episode. Every day on the new app and website, you'll see the top stories in sports, plus a rich world of written content, videos, social media, and analytics to give you a 360-degree view of the most important stories of the day. Streaming live TV has never been so easy or elegant. Every Fox Sports game, including all pregame and postgame shows, are just one click away. For the extra invested fan, we also go deep with real-time wagering lines, trending prop bets, win probability, and key player projections. Download the new Fox Sports app or visit www.foxsports.com.
Hey, Undisputed listeners, it's Charlotte Wilder here to tell you about my new podcast with Mark Titus called the People Sports Podcast. It comes out every Thursday, and Mark and I take one of the big stories of the week, and then we go off on tangents you never saw coming. This might mean that we start talking about the Dodgers winning the World Series and end up wondering if Knicks fans deserve happiness. Or begin with LeBron's greatness and end up drafting our ultimate beer league softball team made up of old athletes. Whatever it is, the only rule of the show is that it has to be fun and funny, because these days we could all use as many laughs as we can get. So check it out wherever you get your podcasts and come down weird sports rabbit holes with us. We can't wait to have you.
Irving dropped 40 points as the Nets opened the second half of their season by cruising to a 121-109 win over the Celtics, despite missing Kevin Durant and Blake Griffin. Meanwhile, Kawhi scored 28 points and drained 5 threes in the Clippers' blowout win over the Warriors last night as well. So, Shannon, as a Laker fan, which we all know, which team do you fear more, the Nets or the Clippers right now?
The Nets. I've always feared the Nets more, especially once they got James Harden. Now, if it's going to be a 2-on-2, Kyrie, KD, LeBron, AD healthy, Paul George, Kawhi, well, hey, I like the Lakers over all of them. But once they got James Harden, they got 3 guys that can go on a given night, go get you 40. And if you need to, 2 of the 3 guys can get you 40 on the same night. You saw what Kyrie did last night. James Harden did not shoot the ball particularly well. He turned the ball over at a high clip. Kyrie said, I got this, bro. And they couldn't do anything. Marcus Smart is a top-notch defender. Jaylen Brown is a top-notch defender. And they couldn't see him. And that's what he's capable of doing. You've never, his offensive game, Kyrie Irving has no holes in his offensive game. He can shoot the 3. Skip, that mid-range that you talk about, he has that in his bag. Handles times 50. Getting to the rim, either hand. Finish it among any 6'10", he'll go into your chest and can finish it with English off the glass with either hand. Offensively, he's as sound as we have in the league. What I need to say about KD? Nothing, okay. James Harden, what I need to say about his offensive game? Nothing. And now he's motivated because he's in a place that he feels that he has a realistic chance of winning. So he's doing all the other things. James Harden is diving on the floor for loose balls. He's getting in there battling for rebounds. He's playing his tail off. You see Kyrie D'ing up. Kyrie's playing defense. He's not a great defender, but he's trying harder than he ever has before. So they are to be reckoned with, especially if KD comes back healthy. Now, Skip, I'm starting to get concerned because this hamstring this is about a month that this thing has been nagging at him. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, it's on the other side. So maybe he compensated a little bit too much, and
the Nets say no, but to your point,
it's very possible. Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, Skip, it's the Nets. It's always been the Nets, especially once they got James Harden. Now, if we get a big, a serviceable big, I'm not talking about go get Jokic or somebody like that, but if we can get a serviceable big, I like the Lakers against anybody because I believe all things given, AD needs to be 100% healthy. Yep. He can't be 85. He can't be 90. He needs to be 100% healthy. But as far for this question, it's the Nets. It's always been the Nets.
So you're completely dismissing that team down in the Staples basement.
You notice I didn't mention their name?
You did not?
Okay, then.
Okay, so they have no relevance in this discussion to you. I want to get you on record as saying they are a non-factor.
Next question.
Next question said Shannon Sharpe. Thank you. That just went on video.
I don't care.
That might get played again and again in a little team meeting.
I hope they kept recording it.
Yeah.
Take a picture of it. Next question.
Okay. Little known facts for you, Mr. Sharpe. The Los Angeles Clippers rank #1 in the league in three-point shooting. The Los Angeles Clippers rank #1 in the league in free throw shooting. The Lakers rank 25th in three-point shooting and 25th in free throw shooting.
Didn't we win a title doing that last year?
Interesting. So first in threes and free throws.
Where you rank defensively?
And 25th.
Where you rank defensively?
14th.
Okay, where
That's
we rank?
underachieving. You're ranked first, and I don't know how.
You do know.
It doesn't pass my eye test. On a nightly basis, it does not pass. You play fairly slow. You'll run when you get to chances, but you play slow and you keep your scores down. So I think that helps contribute to your defensive rating. That's all I can figure out. But when this team in the basement decides to play defense, you better look out.
Well, when did they decide to do that? Playing Steph
see.
Curry by himself.
Yeah, you'll see.
Playing Steph Curry by himself.
Yeah. The Los Angeles Clippers, before I get to the Nets, are the deepest team in the league. And I know you don't really pay any attention to them.
I know what they got.
You realize they have now elevated Nicholas Batum into the starting lineup because he knows how to play basketball. He's a little bit of a point forward facilitator who can get the ball, keep the ball moving, because he's a good guy with high IQ who will share it like crazy.
Well, Nicholas Batum works best if you ask little, expect even less.
Okay.
Because when they paid him that big money to go to Charlotte, what did he do?
Well, it just doesn't matter because he fits here. He's on the French national team because there's a big reason for that. He and Tony Parker dominated in Europe because they know how to play basketball. He knows how to play here, and that puts Marcus Morris Sr. coming in off the bench.
Yes.
And it is some clout he brings because he's an enforcer and a three-point shooter.
Yeah, he made some big shots for him.
Okay, so off the bench come Marcus Morris, Lou Williams, who's turned back into Lou Williams very quietly but very effectively, Reggie Jackson, who can just score it in bunches on anybody, Big Zoo, who you still love and you regret that he was a Laker and now he's a Clipper, and Luke Kennard, who's been a nice little addition to the bench. And I haven't yet mentioned Terrence Mann.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been watching this kid from Florida State. He's a player.
I like him.
And all of a sudden, I'm watching last night. Of course, I watch Clippers games. I might be the only man on earth who actually turns on the Clippers, except for people in Clippers Nation. There are like 4 of those.
Yeah, you, right? Clipper, Darryl, Marcellus Wiley.
That's it.
Rocks all year.
So maybe 3 of us watch Clippers games. So I'm watching last night in the third quarter. I don't even know if we have this. We might.
Man, go ahead.
You might have this. Watch this. Draymond. Boom! Draymond, he had to eat this right in his face. That is Terrence Mann, a guard. A guard. Look at this. Draymond.
Basketball.
Draymond. Look at Terrence Mann's face. Try it again, Draymond. Ate it. The little 2-guard goes in and just blocks his shot because that kid is stout.
You make it seem like Draymond got Anthony Edwards up. I mean,
I never said he was the greatest athlete ever.
Okay, you showed that.
I just thought that was a funny play and a significant I have arrived play for Terrence Mann.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, so just for the record, do you realize that Kawhi is shooting a career-high 40% from 3, and Paul George is shooting a career-high 45% from 3?
Yeah.
Now let's flip it over to the team in the East that looks like it's the new beast of the East. Would you believe that the number 2 shooting team from 3 is the Nets?
Yeah.
And the second best free throw shooting team is the Nets?
Yes.
Let's see, the Lakers are 25th and 25th in those 2 key categories.
Yeah.
This is a 3-point shooting league. So here, just for the record, Kyrie is a career-high 42% from 3. James Harden is a career-high 41% from 3. Kevin Durant, I know he hasn't played me. I think it's 29 games total. He's a career-high 43% from 3. Do you realize what you're up against, Lord have mercy.
So who
they
is it?
Just shoot you out of the gym, both of them. But the problem is you have to face one before you face the other, unless you get lucky like you did last year.
No, hold on. But Skip Bayless, now you tell me you love clutch. You say LeBron lacks the clutch gene, and the NBA defines
I don't say it. I know it.
And then you don't know anything. And the NBA defines clutch as the last 5 minutes of the ball game, in the game within a certain number of points. Did you know the Clippers have the worst net offensive rating in clutch and the worst defensive rating? So not only can they not score in the clutch, they can't stop anybody else from scoring in the clutch.
But what they can do is blow you out.
But what happens with the Skip? When come playoff time, it's not likely because the games are like, I'm focused in on you. I don't have to worry about playing you, going to play the Sacramento, going up to Golden State, coming back down and play the Lakers. All my attention is on you. So the blowouts come few and far between. So now we know this. Hold their feet to the fire. Hold their feet to the fire and they'll crumble. We saw your guy, he started this go way back. With his knee was wobbling, like a bridge in an earthquake, knees shaking at the free throw like...
When he was 17. He was 17 years old.
No, he wasn't.
You can't put a 17-year-old to the free throw line in a crucial Game 6 in Miami against the Heatles.
Whoa. Tell about.
You can't trust him to do that.
Well, you
can't ask him to do that.
Was he on the court? Coach Pop trusted him.
Yeah, and he missed the first one. And that would have iced it. Oh, well.
Well, he had
ice. The rest is Ray Allen history.
Like he was sitting in a bucket of ice.
Yeah, okay. So I will give you this. They have not been clutch this year, but it takes repetitions to figure out whose turn is it and how.
Hold on. They had the same problem last year.
They played like 17 games together last year, and they've had a little bit of that problem this year because Paul's been out for a while, and Kawhi was out. Then you got COVID issues going on. You got issues.
What happened to load management? I thought load management was the way to go.
You know what? Kawhi is not load management.
Whoa. So he never needed load management. He was just taking time off. So he had no PTO. He was just because he was big timing, he was just taking time off. Because I ain't no time out now.
He had creaky knees, not shaking knees, internally creaky knees.
They got bad because they were shaking at the free throw line in Game 6 when he was a rookie.
He hurt his knees while shaking at the free throw line. They were
knocking.
Okay. Meanwhile, over on the Eastern Seaboard, you have a guy in Kyrie Irving who I think has become the clutchest player in the NBA.
Oh,
you want to talk about clutch, Gene?
He big time.
He just took the game over last night. I just sat back in awe of what he does because money on the table, he says, it's mine.
Skip,
Thank you.
Skip, you remember Isaiah and had to put that fourth quarter together against the Lakers on that bad ankle?
I was there.
Kyrie reminds you a lot of Isaiah. About the same size. Isaiah had handles like that. Maybe not quite like that.
Not like this, but close.
He didn't shoot. Isaiah could finish at the rim with the big guys, could shoot the mid-range. Isaiah didn't shoot the three as much as Kyrie. But that's who Kyrie kind of reminds you of. But when he gets it going, Skip, when he gets the ball and he start hopping, you at his mercy. And you at his mercy, Skip, because you never know. Because last night he walked in and walked up into a 30-foot three. And then you worried about that, and then he dances on you, and then he pulls up in the 15-footer. And then you back up off him, you hug, and he's like, okay, he gonna try. And now he goes to the rim.
Then he goes to the rim, and he gets his shot up, and you say, how did he do that?
Skip, he was going to his left. And I was like, oh, they got it trapped on the baseline. And somehow he stopped and shot. I'm like, how y'all let him out of there? Well, they didn't let him out. He's just that good. He's just that skilled offensively.
As I tweeted last night, #ClutchGene. That's Kyrie.
Yeah, Kyrie.
And I think the other guy who's not playing right now, that guy KD, I think he's clutch. He's proven that and winning back-to-back finals MVPs. Even more clutch is Kyrie.
Yep, they're tough out. They're gonna be a tough out.
Okay.
They're gonna be a tough out because, like you said, James Harden struggled last night. He didn't shoot particularly well, and he had 7 turnovers. And somehow he still managed with 22, 10, and 8.
Okay.
But then Kyrie took the game over with 40.
Okay. And I realized that every once in a while, Kyrie Irving can be a little bit weird. And he can be a little bit unpredictable, and it can be a little bit annoying to his teammates and especially to his new head coach. Yeah. And their X factor is they have a new head coach who's never been a head coach, and he still seems a little disgruntled over the fact that he never even got communication from Kyrie about why he took his hiatus. Yeah. But the point is, when Kyrie is now back, he is a model citizen.
Yeah.
And every interview, he did one last night after the game, on, what was it, TNT? he always volunteers about we have to play harder on defense every night. So they're getting a little bit. They moved up to 23rd. And they're not the worst defensive team. He knows. And last night he had 8 rebounds for a 6'2" guy. That means he's just playing his tail off.
Yeah, he is.
That's just hustle rebounds.
And that's the thing, Skip. Nobody's ever questioned Kyrie's talent. You don't go number 1 overall without having some talent.
Yep.
And you watch the way he can dance with the basketball. Like I said, he has no weakness offensively. Shoot threes, mid-range, foul him. He go into the free throw line, go make 90% of his shots.
Yep.
So, and then you pair KD. You know, if I'm them, I'm erring on the side of caution. If KD needs another month, I got James. Skip, that's why you have 3 guys. So if one sits down, I've got 2. If Kyrie, when Kyrie was out, they had KD and James Harden. And if Harden were to sit down, KD comes back, they got KD and Kyrie.
And remember, soon to join the bench is Blake Griffin.
Yes.
And remember, trade deadline, they just might add Andre Drummond.
They might add somebody.
Okay.
I don't know if they can add him via the trade. They're going to need to buy him out, Skip.
Yep.
He wants to maintain probably those birds rights.
Yep.
So, you know, someone can sign him and it doesn't count against the cap like what the Lakers did with KCP. But this almost bordering on unfair.
Okay, so Shannon Sharpe, if your Lakers manage to avoid or survive the Clippers in the West, I mean avoid them as in somebody else shocks them and knocks them out of your path, you're going to heave a sigh and say, well, we got through the Clippers, but this time you're not going to get to face the 5th seed from the East with 2 of its best players hurt in Game 1. Well, not going to happen.
Well, hopefully Philly or the Bucks take their pound of flesh out of them and leave them wobbly for us.
Maybe Philly. And by the way, speaking of Philadelphia, there's this guy who used to be Dwight Howard. Do you know that guy?
Yeah.
Well, last night there was no Embiid and no Ben Simmons. And they won at Chicago because of 18-12 from your ex-Laker Dwight Howard.
And this is why
18-12?
this is why LeBron gonna win the MVP.
Oh.
I got your guy resting.
Really?
Yep.
18-12.
Did that come
My guy's not resting. He's in COVID protocol.
Resting.
It's the barber issue. I told you got to be careful about your barber.
Hey, well, we both wear masks. But here's the thing, though, Skip. Those missed games. You know, the guy, the people that cast their ballots.
No.
Like, hold on.
They'll be back.
This dude, hold on. When?
Next game, I think they'll be done.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I think so. They just had to sit, a little quarantine. It's okay.
Okay.
No problem.
My guy ain't got no quarantine. Yeah. My guy, you notice? My guy just played. No injuries, no COVID.
Huh. I did see him sit out that game at Sacramento.
Don't do that, Skip.
So we could have 2 weeks off.
No, don't do that. We do. Everybody else got 2 months. We get 2 days and you complaining. I can't believe you do that.
2 weeks at midseason. I've never heard of that.
What about the 2 months that we didn't get? We got shortchanged.
You're okay because you don't get tired.
Okay, now we okay.
Yeah.
So you admit we got shortchanged 2 months.
Well, you did.
Okay.
You're Iron Man, right? You're indestructible.
You know what he said yesterday? He said, it's go time. It's time to get to work.
We're scared.
It is go time. Really,
what's the buffer
rest.
that is time?
If you don't, account for the All-Star game. Guys, I'm looking forward to seeing them back in action. We got to talk about a different one of Shannon's guys. Patrick Mahomes may have trouble getting back to the Super Bowl next year. The Chiefs released 2 of his starting offensive linemen yesterday, Eric Fisher and Mitchell Schwartz, which means that KC will have 5 new starters on the line in 2021 from last season's opener. While the Chiefs saved $18 million with the cuts, it leaves their offense with a lot of question marks as they look to bounce back from a blowout loss in the Super Bowl. So, Shannon, how big of a problem is this?
Well, it's a big problem. I don't care how good your quarterback is. If he doesn't get protected, you see what happens. You saw what happened to Mahomes in the Super Bowl, Skip. We've seen what happened with Tom. When Tom gets protected, Tom Brady looks like the great quarterback that he is. And when he doesn't, he has to run for his life. He looks very average. We saw Patrick Mahomes. He tried to make some miraculous throws, but when you don't have time to throw the football, it's tough. The defensive line make life tough on a quarterback. And Eric Fisher, Skip, I mean, they're looking at it like, you just had this surgery in January, Achilles, big guy. What's the likelihood of you coming back being able to start the season? Schwartz, you just had surgery on your back, 31 years of age. What's the chance of you coming back? And it's like, nope, we just might as well go in a different direction. Skip, they had Lucas Niang. They took in the 3rd round. He opted out.
He did?
Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he opted out, the right guard.
Glad you said his name.
I always wanted to say Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. And so, Skip, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough for Patrick Mahomes. But also, Andy Reid and EB are going to have to do a better job. I understand scat protection, which means 5 eligible receivers are out in the route. I understand. But when you can't...
Scat protection is no protection, right?
When you got 5 guys and 3 of the guys are playing out of position, that's what that means. It means no protection because you see, look, it was like a turnstile. Tampa just kept running right through it. It's going to be tough. Skip, Schwartz was a first and second team All-Pro for 4 straight years. Fisher went to the Pro Bowl last year. So it's not like these are some bum linemen.
Fisher was the first pick in the draft.
The first pick in the entire...
Number 1 overall.
Overall. Yeah. He played, and he gotten better and better. But it just goes to show you, Skip, they got a lot of money tied up. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Frank Clark, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. They're probably looking to do something with a honey badger. So they got a lot of money tied up. And the thing is, you want certainty. You got to evaluate, is Eric Fisher going to be able to come back and contribute this year? Skip, I can't keep him on the roster at that number and he's not playing. Mitchell Schwartz, I can't keep him on the roster at that number and he's not playing. So you just got to roll the dice. Now, we saw the Raiders release Gabe Jackson. They released Richie Incognito. There are a few linemen out there. Yep. Maybe they try to find something off the scrap heap. Maybe there's a lineman falls down when they're picking at 31st. But they got their work cut out for them, Skip. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I don't care how great your quarterback is. If he does not have protection, he will look very, very average.
I thought he was transcendent
for
the football.
He is.
I thought he was a magic man.
He is.
I thought he could create something of nothing.
No.
We might have a lot of nothing.
Well,
right?
Losing those 2 guys and look at what I saw at the Super Bowl, that offensive line, that's a whole lot of nothing.
So it's possible the Kansas City Chiefs will have 5 new starters across their offensive line.
Right.
And I'm sure they'll all be pretty to very good players. I'm sure they will because they're a smart organization. Right. Andy Reid and Beach, they know what they do with their
Brett Beach. Yeah.
So they'll put something together.
Plug and play, yeah.
The problem is continuity because it takes knowing, it takes some sort of symmetry across the front to figure each other out. How do we do this when they do that?
Right.
And it's hard to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah.
While Tom Brady is going to have the same old offensive line that really worked for him.
Offensive line trying to figure it out on the fly.
Yep.
Gets the quarterback hit in the back of the head.
It does.
That's what that does.
Okay, so to me, in the big picture, this is paying the piper in a lot of different ways. It's not just paying in salary where you gave Mahomes his money, although I still think that's a team-friendly contract.
Very team-friendly, yeah.
But you talked about all the other big deals that they have had to give to keep everybody together.
Right.
That's the price of winning a championship a year ago. But you have to pay the piper in attitude, too, because this league will get even with you. So did you see the social post of our man Devin White?
I did.
Did you?
I did. Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know. Oh, there goes Mahomes. Ooh, took a shot from Sue. That was almost a cheat.
You know Sue will get that shot going down.
Here we go. Devin White. And they said, never mind. And the pictures of the 2 offensive linemen gone, right?
Right.
Okay, what did they say after the game? Right. I love what Devin White, and this isn't trolling, this is just nailing. That's what he's doing. Because the big theme after the game, the big narrative, if we had our offensive linemen, we would have won the game.
I don't know if they'd have won, but Skip, I think the game would have been more interesting than what it was. But to say because they didn't have those 2 guys and the outcome wouldn't have been somewhat different is not true because we saw what happened the first time they played.
Yeah, we did. So he's basically saying, well, wait a second, you just cut both of them, so they can't be that great.
Well, I mean, one guy came off back surgery, the other guy's coming off Achilles surgery. Yeah.
Okay, so we had Devin White on this show, and he was great.
Yeah.
He lit it up.
He was great.
Sensational. The point is that he was the first to admit to us that, yeah, they took it very personally that Tyreek backflipped on them. Mm-hmm. And as he said in repeated recent interviews, that they got pretty, the word he used was cocky, and they did. Mm-hmm. Andy Reid's kind of cocky. He's a play caller. Eric Bieniemy, they sort of got into, we're unstoppable.
Right.
Well, this league will level the playing field on you. You know this better than anybody. It will just get even with you. So the Tyreek backflip came when they went up 17-0 late in the first quarter at Tampa Bay. You remember that game?
Yes.
And he had 203 receiving yards in the first quarter, and they were rolling. That was the peak of last year's Kansas City Chiefs, was that moment right there. And then slowly but surely, the Bucs got back in the game. Shaq Barrett had one huge play, created a turnover that stopped the bleeding, basically. And then here came Brady, and he got a little hotter, had some glitches in the third quarter, but then he got hot in the fourth quarter, a couple of touchdowns. All of a sudden, I look up, and it's 27-24 Chiefs, and 4:05 left. And again, to your credit, your guy said, no, you can't have the ball back, Tom. I'm not going to give you the ball back. And they killed 4:05 of the clock. Well, that was on Tampa's defense, which was hit and miss through the year, and then it started to hit through the playoffs.
Well, I just think the thing is, Skip, you lost 2 of your bookends. And Tampa, look, Bakhtiari goes out in the NFC championship game, and now you got a mismatch. You got to flip guys around, and so now you got one guy that's supposed to be playing here. He's playing out of position, and you got to bring his backup in to play that position. And we saw the pressure that the Tampa Bay Bucs were able to generate on Aaron Rodgers. They got him 5 times, knocked him down several times. Then we go to get to the Super Bowl, and when you got Skip, it's not like Remmers is a great right tackle to begin with, and then you put him at left. You got to be extremely athletic to play that position because normally you on the open side. Very few teams will start the tight end on that side. So that's why they play that's why the left tackle make all the money. That's why they play the defensive end all the money.
And that tight end, I don't think he thinks a lot about blocking.
No, because he's more valuable in the passing game. But as Devin White was saying, it's not our fault that we were getting pressure and y'all didn't do anything to help the offensive line out. Y'all kept sending 5 out. We kept sending 4 in. So, hey, if y'all don't want us to get to the quarterback, help your offensive line out.
Yeah. I mean, Tampa didn't even need to blitz, which is their calling card.
Right.
And Devin White didn't get to blitz, which is his calling card.
And that was the thing. Once I see that why would I blitz? I'm getting home. I'm generating enormous pressure with 4. You can't stop my 4. I don't need to sacrifice them now. I got 4 coming after you. I got 7 in protection. Basically, what they were playing, Skip, they were playing, in basketball, it would be called a boxing 1. They play in cover 2, but Levante David is locked up man-to-man on Travis Kelce. I've only had to face that coverage one time, faced it against Kansas City. Cover 2, and they took James Haston, he followed me all over the field. So they played a man within a zone scheme. And Levante David did a very good job because he knows, Skip, I got help over the top. I got 2 deep safeties. I can get as physical. And Todd Bowles told him, get as physical as you want to because you don't have to worry about getting beat deep because you got 2 safeties over the top.
But even more important, Tyreek will not get behind us.
Right.
Will not.
There was a lot of times you couldn't even see the safeties in the screen.
Okay. It all started with the backflip. And sometimes, as you know, the NFL gods up above, they say, we will get even with you. And they slowly but surely have gotten even with Kansas City, and now the playing field is level again.
You do, Skip. You remember that. I remember when Miami beat us on a Monday night, and they was dancing. Sam Madison, might have been Pat Surtain. They was dancing on the sideline because we had just lost the week before to the Giants. So we were going in that. We were 13-2. So 13-1. We lose that game 13. Skip, they just, they were dancing, had a good old time.
And?
We'll see you again.
And?
We saw them again, 38-3.
38-3. I don't think Mahomes and company will be losing a lot of 38-3s next year, but I think they're going to have a hard time protecting him next year.
Yeah, because the teams have said, we got to get pressure. We got to get pressure. If you can get pressure, now, Skip, and the thing with Tampa shown, if you can get pressure without blitzing, because he's tremendous against the blitz. And when you blitz, you got to sacrifice something on the back end. That means you can't play that shell coverage because somebody has to come down and take someone. And Tyreek is going to be screaming by you. But they got you right. They got their work cut out for them. They got their work cut out. But I trust Andy.
Good.
No mercy.
The Ravens finished last season dead last in passing, but still, Baltimore isn't concerned about attracting new wide receivers to play alongside 2019 MVP Lamar Jackson. Ravens GM Eric DeCosta told The Athletic, quote, "If they want to play for us, great. If they don't, okay, that's just the way it is. Not a lot of rocket science involved." Juju Smith-Schuster and Kenny Galladay are among the free agent wideouts available this spring, but those two will have plenty of suitors with offenses more pass-friendly than Baltimore. So, Shannon, if you were a free agent receiver, would you want to go to Baltimore right now?
No. I want to catch the football. That's what I do. Because what's going to happen, Skip, what happens, let's just say I caught 80 balls for 1,200 yards where I was. I signed with Baltimore. All of a sudden, I catch 60 balls for 800 yards. You're not going to be looking that I came from a system that gave me 6, 7, 8 targets a game to now all of a sudden I'm down to 4 or 5 targets a game. You're not going to look at me because you say I got an MVP quarterback and Shannon didn't play well. This is a run-based offense. I don't care how you slice it, it's a run-based offense. There's a reason why they finished last in passing, because they run the football. Skip, you don't rush for damn near 3,000 yards in consecutive years by throwing the football first.
And by the way, they finished first
again. Again. And so now maybe if they got him a number one, maybe he does for, maybe a number one receiver can do for Lamar what Stephon Diggs did for Josh Allen. Maybe that's the case. But he's going to have to feature him. And you're going to have to be less run dominant and more pass. Is Lamar there? That's the question. Is he ready to take the next step? Because Russell Wilson took the natural progression. You saw Russell get better and better and better. And eventually they turned the offense over to him and said, Russ, throw the football. Russ would like to throw it a little more. Pete says, I think we should run it a little more. That's neither here nor there. But if I'm a wide receiver, no, I would not want to go in this run-based offense. I want to go to Patrick Mahomes. I want to go to Aaron Rodgers. I want to go to Tampa. I want to go somewhere where they're throwing the football and I know they can throw it. So for me, the question is, are they going to allow, if he gets a number one receiver, if he gets a Galladay, or if he gets a William Fuller, because they're bringing him in, you're going to be the number one receiver. Are they going to give him the opportunities? And can Lamar Jackson, because what I see, can he throw the ball? Yeah. We saw him throw for 36 touchdowns one year, Skip. I needed to see a little bit more consistency. And if he can do that, but Baltimore's not my first option. Baltimore's not my first option.
So once upon a time, there was this tight end named Shannon Sharpe. Won a couple Super Bowls in Denver, and then they said, well, I don't know. We're not sure. And so he said, well, I'll hit the market.
Right.
And he went to Baltimore.
Yes.
And he acquired the nickname Big Play Shay because he played for a team that only needed one play game, right?
Yes.
Okay. There's some similarities here. I'm not saying that this is the Ray Lewis defense, the 2000 Ravens.
Right.
But if you want to win a championship, this is not a bad place to go. If that's your priority in life is, I need a ring.
Yes.
Maybe you've already put up big numbers elsewhere.
That's the question, though, Skip. Are you going to be okay just catching a few passes and winning? Or is Pro Bowls and all pros?
Are you okay with that?
Skip, I had gone to 7 straight Pro Bowls. I had won 2 Super Bowls, a 4-time first team.
Bingo.
I was good.
Bingo. I still say there's somebody out there on the market. Maybe it's Juju. Maybe, I don't know, Emmanuel Sanders, not sure.
I don't look at Juju at number one.
Okay, well, somebody else. Here's the problem.
I like Galladay.
Okay, maybe he would be the fit here. Listen, I love this organization. You know it as well as anybody. I believe in the management. I believe in Ozzie. I believe in Eric DeCosta. I believe in the head coach and John Harbaugh.
So do I.
I believe in Lamar Jackson's intangibles. He is a winner. He has high football IQ and football character. He competes hard.
Absolutely.
They got COVID racked last year, and it just upended him. It knocked him on their tail.
COVID.
That's what I'm saying. They all, the whole team just got obliterated by it. It knocked them completely out of their rhythm. And then all of a sudden, when they finally came back together, they got hot.
Right.
I still say, if Lamar hadn't been concussed at the end of the third quarter at Buffalo, I think they were about to make a run because the wind was gaining like 35 miles an hour, and they were about to get it back where they could go with the wind instead of into it. And he made one mistake. They got returned. It wasn't a horrible mistake, but it got returned 100 yards for a touchdown that put them in the hole they were in. No concussion. I still say they would have made a game of it. I don't know. Could they have won it? Maybe. Would they have given Kansas City a better game than Buffalo did? I believe they would have. Just on their tradition, their belief, their locker room is stronger.
I just think the thing is, Skip, you're going to have to go there with it, knowing I'm not going to be the same person I was.
I got that.
Are they going to be okay with that, Skip? You got to be okay. Everybody says that.
But here's what you have. You have Marquise Hollywood Brown.
Yes.
He's the icing on the cake, but he's not the cake.
Right.
Because all he can do is occasionally just run by you, and Lamar occasionally hits him for a big score.
Right.
And Mark Andrews, another University of Oklahoma product, is a fine possession receiver, but that's all he is. Right. And Willie Snead is a very good number 3, but he's a number 3.
Correct.
And I still said they haven't used Devin Duvernay enough, because at Texas, he tormented me as an Oklahoma fan, because he will get open out of the slot.
Right.
He was a rookie last year, so I don't think they utilized him as much as they should have. The point is, it's screaming for that pure number 1.
Right.
And again, Marquise got 100 targets last year, but you need somebody who will get 120, 130 targets.
Yeah, the top receiver, you look at Stephon Diggs to see what his targets were. You look at Adams. Skip, you need to be in that 130, 150, 160.
Fine. I don't know if they're going to get there, because they're number 1 in rushing. They probably will be again next year. And that has something to do with the quarterback's ability, which is extraordinary.
And that's the thing, Skip. You got to play to the quarterback's strengths. You can't just say because everybody else is throwing, and my guy plays quarterback position and everybody else is doing, but his best attributes is his legs.
I got it. But he's still a very good thrower.
Yes.
He's a dart thrower. He won the MVP.
Yes.
And I'm still shocked. He's plummeted all the way to tied for 7th in the MVP odds right now with Matt Stafford, the new, obviously, Rams quarterback. But he's behind Dak, and it's shocking to me that he's all the way down there, because I think he's got a real good shot to win it next year. It's just who he is. He's going to put up numbers.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So somebody is going to miss a trick here. There's a big glaring opening here for a potential Super Bowl team to be the number 1 receiver. Obviously, they tried Dez last year for a little, and no, I'm sorry. God bless him, but no. There's an opening here where somebody should be smart enough to say, I could be that guy, and maybe I'm not going to make the Pro Bowl, but we might make the Super Bowl.
But, Skip, the thing is, you're going to have to do a lot of blocking.
Okay. That's who they are. That's what they do.
I mean, it works. You might catch for 100 yards one game, but are you okay going 2 to 3 games with not catching 100 yards?
Yes, you better be. And are you okay if you get a ring out of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying is go for it.
Yeah. But all things being equal, you got a choice. Of the top 10 quarterbacks, you going to Baltimore or you going elsewhere?
What's your priority in life? What matters to you? Because I'm telling you, for the duration of your existence on this planet, you need a ring. It's huge.
Oh,
Does it not catapult you into second careers?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And but the thing is, Skip, you're gonna have to be okay with people saying, and they even though I was making the plays, they kept saying, well, he's only making 1 play because he's not the player that he once was. Well, that wasn't true. I wasn't getting the opportunities.
Okay.
But I was okay with that.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with that, because I knew what I was capable of doing. Give me the opportunity. When they gave me an opportunity to catch 6, 7 balls, I got 100 yards. I got a touchdown. But for the most part, Skip, it was 2 and 3. We were going to run the football, pray we catch you in the right defense at the wrong time, and we hit our heads on the goalpost. I was okay with that. But my thought process at that time, Skip, and I realize now, I'm in year 11 of my career.
Yeah.
I'm good. I've already got 500 catches. I've already been to the Pro Bowls. I've already been All-Pro. Got 2 Super Bowls on my resume.
I got it.
So I didn't have any.
You got a 3rd ring out of it.
As Steph Curry said, the nuances of it. I don't have anything to prove, but there are some things I want to accomplish. I wanted to show that because I got tired. I hear everything. Well, he's only good because he's in the West Coast offense. He's only good because Mike Shanahan is his head coach. He's only good because TD. But damn, I mean, ain't like TD catching the ball. Ain't like, John Elway running these routes. So let me go somewhere else. And then I win a Super Bowl over there. They said, well, the only reason you won a Super Bowl because of the defense. I say, well, I can't win. I can whatever. I give up.
Your quarterback was Trent Dilfer, and he wasn't bad, but he wasn't.
He wasn't Elway either.
No, he wasn't Elway. You were playing with arguably the greatest defense ever.
Yes.
And the opponent wasn't going to score more than 6 points, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
That was our objective. But you have to make those plays, Skip, because think about it. Going into the game and you know the only time you're really going to throw the football is on third down.
Yep.
Ain't going to be no first down throws. Ain't going to be a lot of second down throws. Basically, you're throwing the ball on third down.
Yep.
No mercy. Wild Friday, more breaking news out of the NFL. Just this morning, Tom Brady is taking a page out of his old Patriots playbook and helping his team out financially. Brady and the Bucs reached an agreement today that locks him into Tampa through the 2022 season. The deal is actually a 4-year extension that voids to a 1-year extension, saving the Bucs $19 million against the cap this year. So, Shannon, I gotta start with you here. What does this mean for Tampa?
They're trying to keep this thing together. They're trying to keep this train on the tracks as long as they possibly can, Skip. But this is the loophole that I don't know who started this with the voidable year, Skip. So basically, they took the money they were supposed to make this year, probably $25 million. They gave it to him in the form of a signing bonus, gave him minimum salary, added another year, but voided 3 of those years. So basically, this year and next year, he's under contract. And you look at the number, it's probably what? His probably cap number this year is probably, Skip, $6 million.
Oh, I was going to say 0. It's close.
Yeah, because Skip, what they did is that when you prorate $19 million over 4 years, and then you give him a base.
For those who don't get it, you divvy it up.
Right. So you give him a $20 million. So you get $20 million signing bonus. You're going to divvy that up. So that's $5 million, $5 million, $5 million, $5 million.
Those are counting against those caps.
Right.
All
Plus his base salary. So,
but the years are voided.
Right. So what they're doing, Skip, I don't know if you remember this. You remember the NFL had an uncapped year. And what teams did, Dallas Cowboys and the Washington football team lost a lot of money because the NFL said, we don't want you to dump all your money in the uncapped years. Yep. Washington and Dallas said, bull jive, we're dumping it. And they ended up losing one lost like $38 million, the other lost $20 million in cap space because they did that. What they're doing now is they're finding this loophole with voidable years, Skip. We're prorated, knowing good well those years are going to get voided, but we've already prorated and saved it against the cap this year and possibly next. I like the move, Skip. I'm going to try, like I said, they're trying to keep this train on the tracks as long as they possibly can. And they know as long as they got that guy, Tom Brady, they have an excellent chance of getting to and winning Super Bowls. But the only thing is that how do we keep this group together? And right now, they're off to a great start. Levante David has re-signed. Now, with $19 million in cap space, Skip, now they can turn their attention to you-know-who, Shaq Barrett.
Yep. I think you were just disingenuous.
What?
I think you were less than truthful. You said, I like this move. I think you hate this move.
No. I like, Skip, I'm all for players I don't care how you do it. You can have my cap number at 50 cents. As long as you give me my money, I don't care nothing about no cap. Players don't care nothing about the cap, Skip. You and the front office care about this cap. The players want their cheese.
Except for this player. I told you 2 shows ago, the Bucs have a not-so-secret cap weapon, and his name is Tom Brady. And I warned you, that Tom Brady, was about to drop a little bombshell on your head. And he just dropped it. Right on time, because they're going to need this starting Monday or need it over the weekend to finish off a potential Shaq Barrett deal.
Correct.
And it's going to be a big deal because he said publicly, it's time for me to break the bank.
Yeah, exactly.
It's also time for him to continue living in Tampa, playing for Bruce Arians with Tom Brady with no state income tax. Woo. That's what you have going for you in that situation.
Yes.
And you have the whole concept of let's do it again.
So, because Skip, you're willing to give $10, $15 million because you're going to make it up in state taxes that you get to save.
Okay. So there's one quarterback who said his whole career, I'll take less, I'll take less, I'll take less. Nobody else does this.
Right.
Mahomes sort of did it.
Right.
Maybe in the small picture he did it because his deal is heavily backloaded.
Right.
But he tried to make it palatable for his team in the first 3 years to continue to surround him with good players.
Because when the new TV deal hits, which will be the 3rd year, this deal going to look like, man, Patrick Mahomes only making $45 million?
Okay, so I told you the other day, given Brady's mentality, given the Brady method in New England when he just took less, and they won 6 Super Bowls, maybe not because of it, but it had to be some contributing factor. We kept saying, well, what's he doing with the money? Because we can't really see where's all the talent. Where's the juggernaut? I don't know.
But what it did, Skip, is that it kept the cost down for the other players.
It did.
And so now, instead of having one or two big-ticket free agents on the defensive side, Coach Belichick was able to assemble a lot of medium-tier to lower-tier guys. And so now, because that's where that money, you spend $25 million, you spend $18 million on two defensive players, so that's $36 million. And you got to pay. If Tom was getting what he was, be like, nah, we scrapped all our money. Because if you look at the Kansas City, Skip, their money tied up at like 5 players. The 3 offensive guys and the 2 defensive guys. That's where all your money's at. And you got 53, you got to field a team of 53.
That is correct. So now, I told you, it's like, why would Tom Brady want a nickel? He doesn't need the money. He needs the legacy.
Right.
What's his goal? Is to win 8.
He's trying to put the Super Bowl. He's put it out there like Bill Russell. He's trying to do what Bill Russell did in basketball.
That's a good analogy.
Nobody.
Yeah.
If I get to 8, if I get to 9, ain't nobody getting that many. I don't care how long you play, you'll never get that many. In basketball, I don't care how long you play, you're not getting 11 championships.
And not to put Mr. Russell in any negative light, but I believe their degree of difficulty is lower than Tom Brady's has been in this league at this time.
It's a different time. They had 8 teams, Skip.
Yeah, that's correct. And they had it all in Boston.
Yeah.
Man. They were the best team by far, to me.
Out of 12 players, they had 1 year, they had 9 Hall of Famers on the roster, about a roster of 12. So I don't know if that's good or not, but.
But the greatest thing about Mr. Russell was he had, what do we give him, 6'8", maybe?
Yeah, 6'8", 6'9".
Maybe. He dominated 7'1" Wilt Chamberlain. He dominated him mentally and psychologically. So I give you that.
Yeah.
Back to Tom Brady. So now this throws open the possibility that, boy, they can keep just about everybody.
Yeah.
So if they keep Shaq Barrett, then can they figure out Leonard Fournette? Maybe.
He's the least of that. I mean, Skip, you can find somebody to do what Leonard Fournette do. I mean, he's not Derrick Henry.
No,
and you don't need Derrick Henry in that system.
But I think Tom loved him.
Yeah.
Playoff Lenny. And I think Tom would like to keep that 1-2 punch of him and Ronald Jones.
This is what Tom Brady loved. You work hard. You know what you're supposed to do.
Yep.
I love you.
Yep.
Because you're going to help me win.
Yep.
Skip, I don't want Tom Brady. I want somebody to beat him. You got, because I don't want, if Tom Brady had to, because I know it's going to happen, the same thing that happened with Jordan. Jordan walked away for those 2 years, and everybody said if he hadn't walked away, he'd have won 6 straight. I don't want that with Tom. Y'all got to beat the man and make him go home. Don't let the man just like, man, I'm tired of beating you guys. I'm tired of beating you bums. I mean, I'm going home. I ain't even got no competition out here.
That's not going to happen.
Exactly. So I don't want that.
You have to send him home.
Yes, send his butt home.
Yep. Okay. So the only odd man out that I can see right now would be Sue. Because he does have some mercenary in him, and he's got his championship. He's played in 2. So now he says, pay me. Maybe Dallas. Right. I don't know. Somebody, I'm sure somebody will be able to offer him more than Tampa will.
Skip, I think, well, here's the thing. Can somebody, he's going to want this time, like, man, I've been playing on 1-year deals for the last 3 years. Can I get a 2-year deal?
Maybe.
Can I get a 2-year deal? I want to know I'm going to be somewhere and not have to pop. Because if I'm not mistaken, Skip, I had him on my podcast, I think his wife is expecting twins. I think he's expecting twins in the very, very near future. So he probably wants to get somewhere and settle down. Now, he's going to make I think his full-time residence is in Oregon, Portland.
Yep.
But Tampa's a nice place to have a second home.
Okay. So they have to deal with Gronk, obviously, and Antonio Brown.
That's cheap.
So how much will they cost?
Yeah, pay Gronk $4 or $5 million.
So would you bet on both being Buccaneers next year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like it's run it back time.
Yeah.
Right?
You try, hey, if you declare the cap space that they're clearing up and you can do it, because a lot of times, Skip, you're like, we like to run it back. We really don't want the guy. We say that, Skip, because we don't want to make him feel bad because we just accomplished something special. They sincerely want these guys back. They want Shaq Barrett back. They wanted Levante David back. They want Gronk. They want AB.
Publicly.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes, Skip, you say that publicly, be like, nah, we good. We good.
Well, you know what Aaron said at the parade or the big celebration, remember?
Yeah.
Your ass ain't going nowhere.
Yeah.
He said it to Levante and he said it to Shaq.
Well, you know, sometimes, Skip, he was on that, he was on that avocado tequila, too.
You may be.
So, you know, him and Tom, the only thing
may sip that on a daily basis.
Yeah. He just there throw the trophy from boat to boat, and he didn't need a security guard to stand him upright. to come out the facility.
So are you now finally coming full circle to agree with me? There's one man in sports you do not bet against, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. Are you there? It sounds like you're there.
Skip, they cleared up space. Look, and I said it. If you got $20 million for Shaq gonna stay. But if you thought he was gonna stay for like 17, 18 to stay, it looks like, Skip, they're gonna be able to get close to what anybody else could have given him. And plus the luxury that they have, warm weather and no state income tax. Well, I don't know where if you're going to Dallas, if you're going somewhere in Dallas or Vegas doesn't have any state income tax. Does Arizona? I mean, you got to look at Tennessee. There are only a handful of states that don't have state income tax.
So are you ready to publicly concede the Buccaneers should be the favorites going into next year?
I said, Skip, I said that after the Super Bowl.
You did?
I did.
But you thought that they were going to lose Shaq. You already told me. You said no Shaq and no Levante.
Yes.
And now it's looking like both.
Both, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I said, well, obviously, if they had lost Shaq and Levante David, I don't think they should have been the favorite. But I think they should have been the favorite because they were still there. Now, we would assess that once the guys leave via free agency. But I've always thought it was unfair to a team. We beat the Packers in the Super Bowl, Skip, in 97, and the next day they were favored to win next year. So I'm like, well, did we just beat them?
It was a huge upset.
I'm like, well, you said Tom Brady was a huge upset.
3 road wins and 1 home Super Bowl win. Which he circled and said, I'm going to go do that.
Well, it theoretically wasn't a road because there was really no fans.
Okay, well.
Because that's how you told me with Goat James. Goat James really didn't play on the road because there was no fan. They played in the same arena every night.
They were the only team that wanted to be in the bubble.
See, there you go.
Way to go.
You see where you found a way. You try to find a way to undermine my guy.
I don't find a way. I just
you
tell
needed
them.
to do well. I would not have survived in the bubble.
No mercy.
LeBron James, though, guys, well, he is ready to go after the All-Star break, giving him nearly 2 weeks off since his last game with the Lakers. LA is currently in 3rd place in the Western Conference, and the King sounds ready to make a push. In a conference call yesterday, LeBron told reporters, quote, "It's time to go get prepared and make that turnaround, that last lap going into the postseason. I'm not into looking ahead saying, okay, let's take this off, take that off. Nah, it's go time for me." Shannon, do you like what he said here?
I love it. He knows. Skip, it looks like the Phoenix Suns are for real. We know at Utah, the Clippers. And so the Lakers and LeBron, we don't know when AD, he's not playing tonight. They say they'll reevaluate him after the game. So it might be another game or two without AD. And LeBron knows he's going to have to be the best version of LeBron James in order to keep the Lakers where they need to be. First, second seed, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter any of the seeds. The Lakers feel that if they're healthy, they can beat anybody on any given day. And I like their chances. But LeBron knows in order for them to be the team minus AD, he has to be great. And he says it's go time. So don't ask me, am I sitting? Don't ask me, am I load managing? Don't ask me, am I taking time off? The answer is no, 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 hell no. I'm here to play. I don't know what he's saying to myself, man, I don't know how many more games I got. And you talking about taking them off? No, I'm playing, and he will be spectacular, and he will be the 2021 MVP.
That's a done deal?
Done deal.
Really?
I want 2 cases right now.
Got it.
2 cases.
Boom. I love
Saw him
Diet
coming.
Mountain Dew.
See, I got him, y'all. See, I got him at home. Get him every time.
I didn't make the bet. You made the bet.
I saw you coming.
How did you see me coming when you were the one who proposed that? You realize your history on this show. Every time you propose a bet, you lose. You realize that.
No, I saw you coming.
Thank you.
I said, I got a feeling Skip going to want this one, so let me throw it out there. Well, got it. Got me another one. Yeah. Caught me a fish.
Well, you do have the LeBron fanboy media on your side. That's what Kevin Durant called.
There you go.
Right?
The same ones that voted him MVP.
Fanboys, right?
You know they did vote for KD for like 2 finals MVPs and a regular season MVP. Does he know that?
Well, the slam dunks were the 2 finals. That wasn't hard. Okay, back to LeBron James. And by the way, I got to ask a quick question just to make sure for the record. He is playing tonight?
Yeah, we're playing.
You got a home game against Indiana, but then I look at the schedule. You got Saturday off and Sunday off?
Yeah.
Before you have a short flight up to Golden State for a Monday game?
Yeah.
So how many weeks off do you
Skip,
get?
now you saw for a whole month, we were playing every other day. We
So
played
was
Monday.
everybody.
Well, hold on. Everybody ain't us. Everybody didn't play until July and then had to turn around in December. Now, we need a break here or there.
it feels like the commissioner flipped LeBron a little bone and said, here's your MVP bone right here. How about this? I'm going to give you 3 weeks off in the middle of the year so you can rest up and return to being Iron Man. In fact, he may have just sort of greased the skids for the Lakers to go back-to-back.
Well, Joel Embiid got time off, right? He taking time off, right?
He didn't want it.
Yeah, he did.
Forced.
Yeah, he did. He took 6 games out. This is number 7.
Contact tracing. Barber, wear those masks.
No, Tommy ate McDonald's. Tom hurt.
This is a new Embiid. I think Joel Embiid's going to win this thing.
Well, we already got 2 cases on it, so we'll find out.
Good. So I got 2 quotes I need to refer to here. The first one is this whole idea of I got gears. I go first, second, and third to the
You know about 7-speed because you got one.
You know what? I do. I have a manual 7-speed ZR1 with 755 horsepower, which is akin to LeBron James' body. He's got 755 horsepower. Except the difference is, he says he shifts into 7th for the playoffs. I don't think I've ever been in 7th gear in my ZR1. I've had it for like, I don't know, a year and a half.
Yeah.
I don't take it on the highway.
You never come up on me on the road. Then you would need it.
Well, I wouldn't need the 7th gear.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
Huh?
Yeah, you would.
What do you drive, like a Volkswagen? I don't forget what you drive.
Yeah, but it's clean.
Oh, it's clean. Well, I'll give you that. So when I read quotes like this, he details, I go into 4th, 5th, 6th, then I go into 7th, and I think you want to be Jordan. You borrow everything.
Jordan ain't said nothing about no gears. Jordan had no gears.
Jordan never talked about this because he just did it. You don't have to tell everybody what you're going to do. Just go do it.
Oh, my God. So Tom Brady tells us all the time about him working out. He posted 2 days after the Super Bowl. They make him mention Tom Brady called Clyde Christensen after the party. I think we can be better. Why don't you just go be better, Tom? Why you got to tell us? Why you got to take snapshots of you showing us you going to work out? Brady does this all the time, and you praise him for it. Go James does it. Jordan never did it.
Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls.
Hold on,
7.
Skip.
LeBron's won 3 championships.
4.
No, that was a cubic zirconia.
Don't worry about it.
That was a bubble champ. That doesn't count.
It only matters, Skip. A lot of people, if you wearing a diamond, a lot of people, unless they're a jeweler, can't tell.
That is true.
It's only how you wear it. LeBron James wear that 4th one just like the other 3.
Blind witnesses cannot tell that's cubic zirconia.
You talk about LeBron like he ain't got no title. You talk about LeBron like
he's got a couple.
He got 4. 4 for 4.
Ray Allen got him 1.
Did you go?
He did. You know it, and I know it. He got to play the Baby Thunder. And then what's the other one? I can't even remember what the other one is. Oh, he came back because Draymond got suspended.
What about your Spurs?
Yeah. What about them?
Yeah.
Well, it's just
and we got Miami.
Huh?
And we got Miami. We dusted off the Heat.
Oh. Okay.
Dusted them.
They were the 5th seed.
They were there.
They lost Bam and Dragic in game number 1.
They were there.
Okay.
Hold on, you guys were the 5th seed.
What are you talking about?
Tampa.
Yeah, they were. They were a legit 5th seed. Lord have mercy. Okay, here's the other quote that no one's making a big deal of, and everybody should be really underlining this quote. So he goes on and on about how he's never been healthy. This is in yesterday's Zoom session. Never been healthy since his first year in the league. And I appreciate that. He's just saying, I've always had bumps and bruises. You have to learn how to
play through them.
As you know, you manage it.
Yes.
You just figure it out. But you're never, quote unquote, healthy.
Right, correct.
Right? So he says, but more importantly, it's not about my body, it's about my mind. As long as my mind is fresh, I'll give you that, I can get over the bumps and bruises that my body may endure. At the end of the day, my mind on the floor gets me through games, and I'm still able to play at a high level that you, meaning the media, wouldn't really understand because of my IQ. He went Kyrie on the fanboy media. Remember when Kyrie called the media just a bunch of pawns in the game of life? Like you're just the middleman, you're just the messengers, right? You're the pawns. And LeBron went total condescending arrogance.
Wait, that was condescending, Skip.
I'm still able to play at a high level that you wouldn't really understand because of my IQ.
You wouldn't.
Baloney.
You wouldn't.
How many times have I said on this show he has the highest IQ in basketball? I understand it. I get it. He's playing more with his mind than his body right now.
How many people could sit in the class in which Einstein's teaching and understand what he's talking about? That's Einstein.
Okay.
He said I can talk about things and do things on the court. Y'all wouldn't understand.
Okay. This is the fanboy media.
They don't
You're biting the hand that feeds you the MVP.
Skip.
If I'm Dave McMenamin at ESPN or anything, Mark Medina at USA Today, I'm saying, really?
So
I don't get it.
I just want to ask you one thing. Tom Brady says, you know what, guys? A lot of times I'm processing things that you think is this, but I'm processing things you guys have no idea.
He does not say that.
I've said if he did, you wouldn't say a word.
I would say
No, you wouldn't.
He just wouldn't. I know he would not do that because he wouldn't even give you that much. He gives you nothing.
My guy is just saying, I'm getting by my basketball IQ. He says, and you guys don't understand it because you're like, well, LeBron didn't dunk or LeBron didn't do this. But he's saying, my mind is getting me through, even when my body is fatigued. Even though when
I totally get what he's saying because I understand it.
Okay.
I have given full credit where credit was due.
Okay, then.
Highest IQ in basketball. But don't rub my nose in it.
We ain't rub your nose.
Yes, you are.
Hold on, look. I am not about to dress down. I'm not about to dress trashy just because you know I'm on TV and I make a little money. I'm going to dress like I'm on TV. I got a little money. LeBron James, a good-looking girl. Hey, don't you dress down so everybody says, oh, she thinks she look good. I do look good, and I'm going to dress accordingly. LeBron James says, I'm the GOAT. My basketball IQ is savant, and I'm going to let you know it.
But don't tell us we can't understand it.
You can't.
You can tell us.
You can't.
But don't look down on us. Don't hand it down to us from the mount.
Well, how about this here? He give my basketball, so I'm looking up at you. My basketball IQ so high, y'all wouldn't even have no idea what's going on over here.
Can you believe he said that?
Yeah, I can believe it.
Huh?
He should have said it. Surprised he ain't said longer.
Huh. Such condescension.
That ain't nobody condescending, Skip. I want you to stop making everybody.
This came from LB Noj. LB Noj. The guy who can't shoot threes or make free throws is saying you would not understand my basketball IQ. I give full credit because that's really all you have right now.
Skip, well, hold on, what you mean? You see that turnaround? You see 25, 8, and 8. That's what he got right. That's all he got. 25, 8, and 8. If that's all hey, how many guys you think would take that? Skip, there's only been a handful of guys in the history of the game that's been able to do that. That 25, 8, and 8. Nobody's been able to do it past the age of 30 but GOAT.
MVP?
How many players, let me ask you a question, Skip. In the history of the NBA, how many players have played into their 30s? And that's the only man to do 25, 8, and 8.
So my question to you is, what did he do with this 3 weeks off in the middle of the year? Do you think he practices free throws? He's shooting 69% from the free throw line.
We mind our business. He probably gathered up Savannah, probably went out to the south of France. Okay. Maybe.
Do they have basketball courts?
Don't worry about the basketball. Skip, our mind. We gotta refresh that mind, recharge that mind.
Yep.
Everything else will fall into place. Skip, you remember that movie Russell Crowe, A Beautiful Mind? That's what he is.
I agree. I got it. Just don't hand it down to us. Don't try to say you can't understand
Skip,
my genius.
What genius did not do that? The man is a savant, Skip.
He is. I give you that because that's all he's got left. Can't shoot threes. Remember the narrative? He's a three-point. No, he's not. And he's plunging back.
36%.
Don't we have like 5 other cases on 38?
36% right now. He will be at 38 by season's end.
Really? We better get real hot, like crazy.
Oh, we're going to get hot. I got a feeling tonight. He probably 4-7 tonight. 4-7 tonight.
Okay.
He made 4 threes tonight.
Okay, 4 threes for 2 cases?
4 threes for 2 cases. Got him.
Thank you.
I know Brian watching. Brian, you got me?
Well, if Bron's watching, you're sunk because he's going to choke his brains out.
Crazy.
To make 4 threes.
You know what we do against the Pacers, Skip. You remember what we did to the Pacers last time we played them in the playoff? You remember what we did?
that was back when you were like 23.
No. We did that to them the last time we was in Cleveland in the playoff.
That was when they had George Paul. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it to him.
Yep, you did.
But don't do that, Skip. We're genius. We're geniuses.
You are, and you let the world know.
Skip, what you think happens when Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these great guys get in a room together?
I don't know. Do they get in a room together?
Yeah, they get in. Man, you got to, billionaires hang with other billionaires. Really? That's why me and Bron get along. Yeah. We geniuses.
That is why you and LeBron. Oh, it all makes sense now. Totally makes sense.
Hey, you're a hater.
Thank you for clearing that up. No one's a hater around here. I respect that.
No mercy.
All right, a lot going on in the NFL this morning. First, reports are that the Patriots are re-signing Cam Newton to a one-year deal worth $14 million. But this apparently does not preclude the Patriots from making another quarterback move in the weeks to come. Now, New England, remember, finished 7-9 last year in their first post-Tom Brady season. And meanwhile, Brady headed down to Tampa. He won his 7th Super Bowl and just this morning agreed to a contract extension that will keep him in Tampa through at least 2022. So, Skip, this one is for you here. How much more foolish will Brady make Belichick look this season?
Shannon, all-time foolish. Bill Belichick is in trouble.
He's already off to a great start, Skip.
He is, and it's going to get worse next year. Bill Belichick will get further exposed because he's going to miss the playoffs for a second straight year, while Tom Brady, going in his second year, believes that they're going to be even better, and I believe they will be. Again, the injury gods will dictate the outcome, but I think they should be favored to win next year's Super Bowl, and I think your gut is telling you they should also.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick, once again, is going to be a victim of his foolish pride. And the more I think about this Cam situation, I'm pretty shocked by it because I believe he's now trying to say, hey, world, watch what I can do with a quarterback nobody wanted, a beat-up 32-year-old, a former MVP, who had moments of absolute MVP brilliance for me last year that still fell apart into him ranking 30th in QBR out of 33 qualified quarterbacks, being ranked by Pro Football Focus the 23rd best quarterback last year. Lots of big hits and lots of big misses. Some sensational games and some sensationally bad games. And it adds up to you can't make the playoffs with Cam. I don't know if it's his body's battered, number one, but I don't know if his arm is ever going to be quite the same because, as you know, he was 26th in the league last year in air distance. How far did he throw the football on average? He was 26th. Tom Brady was first. Now, again, the offenses are totally upside down different. So in the Bruce Arians attack, Tom Brady said, I can still wing it, and he showed you he can still throw it as far as anybody else throws it. He threw it number one far. So the point is that Belichick's trying to say, watch, I can go forward with Cam because they gave him $14 million. Well, that's low-end starters.
Well, Skip, when you break it down, you see what they gave him. They gave him like 1.5 guaranteed, and they gave him like 43 grand a game that he's active, and he played 50% of the time. It's heavily incentivized. It's not like $14 million base salary. It's heavily incentivized, which means only like $500,000 is fully guaranteed.
Okay, that's cap-friendly.
Yes.
I'll give you that. But they have the 15th overall pick, and it's still... I still don't see where Belichick can work any sort of magic to trade up. I know Mel Kiper had him trading up to your Broncos at 9, which would require giving up next year's number 1 and this year's number 2, along with that 15th pick to go to 9. He has him taking Trey Lance. Again, if I'm Denver, I'm thinking, well, if he wants Trey Lance, maybe we should want Trey Lance because you really want to go forward with Drew Lock. So I'm not sure that Belichick can get one of those top 5 quarterbacks who all could be gone within the first 9.
Well, I tell you what, if Mac Jones is not gone by the 9th pick.
Well, that's fine, but he will be. I just think he will.
You think somebody's going to trade up that high and get him?
Well, whoever's sitting there might take somebody along that trail leading up to the Cowboys at 10. Somebody's just going to take him. They're just going to go boom, 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 boom. We could have 4 in a row off the top and then maybe a pick or 2 later, whoever's left over. I don't know which one, whoever you fall in love with.
Right.
But now the seat gets even hotter for Belichick because he does have cap room and he does have the 15th overall pick and he's got some draft capital down the line. He has 2 4th-round picks.
Right.
And now the pressure is on. Show us.
Right.
Well, he got too much credit, I thought. I always told you 75% of the credit went to Tom Brady, and I'll give him 25% because he is one of the greatest defensive coaches ever.
Right.
And he did a lot with a little on defense, but he wanted cogs, and he got a lot of cogs and made them work in a system.
Well, Tom Brady is eating into a lot of the credit that I was giving Coach Belichick. Tom Brady is eating into that.
Okay, thank you for that. So in the end, Tom Brady was the ultimate backstop for every move that Bill made because Tom Brady could turn it into gold because Tom Brady would say in the locker room, hey, don't pay any attention to him. He's difficult. He's hard to get along with, but we'll win in spite of him.
Correct.
And any move that got made that really wasn't a good move, it got canceled out or camouflaged by Tom Brady because Tom Brady would just rise above it.
Right. Well, we didn't know it was a bad move because Tom covered it up.
Thank you. Okay? So slowly but surely, I think a lot of people are saying, I think Brady deserves more and more credit. And next year shapes up as an even worse year than this year because I think Tampa is going to be really hard to beat next year because of their continuity. I know Cam's saying, I've got continuity. At least they know who I am coming back this time around.
Right.
And I give you that. And listen, I give Cam the highest marks for having the guts to step into those winged cleats of Tom Brady in Foxborough. That's hard. There are very few humans who could have survived last year the way Cam did.
Right.
Maybe Breeze could have. Maybe Aaron Rodgers could have. That's about it.
Right.
To step into those shoes and play it at a reasonably high level, but I just don't know how much Cam has left. And again, he had the second highest rushing attempts of his career last year, and he scored a bunch of he had 12 rush touchdowns. So overall, he had a good running year, but at 32, are you going to be able to do that again? I don't think so.
Probably not. I just think the Patriots can improve this offseason, Skip. They got $56 million in cap space.
They do.
They got a lot of guys that opted out, opting back in. They just made the trade for Trent Brown. Trent Brown was only been good in one place, the Patriots. He was never that good with the 49ers.
Hey.
He was terrible with the Raiders. But so for some
He is
reason...
a monster. He is 6 feet 8 inches tall, but somehow he shrank in Las Vegas.
Maybe it's because they moved him, because he went there to play left tackle, and they took Miller with the left tackle and moved him to right. And he, for whatever reason, I don't know if he couldn't stay healthy, Skip, or it didn't pan out, but now he's back in New England where he enjoyed success. He blocked for Tom Brady, won that Super Bowl, parlayed that 1 year of starting into a financial, windfall.
Okay.
But now he's back. Looks like they're going to probably lose Joe Tooney.
Okay, but they franchised him last year. And now you go from franchise tag to we're going to let you go?
Yeah,
really?
I don't get that move. But the thing is, Skip, can they get a receiver or receivers? Because they're devoid of that.
Yes, they can. Absolutely.
Cam best seasons came when he what? Greg Olsen. So you need a tight end. Jonnu Smith is out there. Hunter Henry. Now, Hunter Henry is going to probably want somewhere $11, $12 million a year. Jonnu Smith.
And deserve it.
Right. Jonnu Smith is going to want a big payday.
He's pretty good.
Is Coach Belichick willing to go to those numbers for those guys?
He may have to.
He may have to, Skip.
Yep.
But I just think because the offense is so devoid of talent, if you're asking Cam to come in and you want Cam to be spectacular, you got to give him something to be spectacular with. You can't ask me to cook you a good meal and don't give me anything but scraps to work with.
Because I promise you, all last year, Tom Brady was looking up at Foxborough from his home in Tampa saying, man, I feel sorry for that guy because I know what he's going through.
Tom was like, you mean to tell me I won 12 games with that? I should have been the MVP.
Thank you.
Skip, I mean, with $56 million, you can do a lot. But you got to hit. He's got to do a better job of drafting. His draft picks hadn't been, I mean, you dropped that safety last year in the second round. I don't remember him calling his name.
Yeah.
He
was here and there.
Skip, you took N'Keal Harry.
I don't want to be a hypocrite. I thought that was a good move late in first round.
Yeah,
but he's had a horrible history of drafting receiver. Horrible.
Yes. I mean, really think
last
about
year
it.
he drafted 2 tight ends, and I don't even know their names.
He really, with the exception of Brady and Gronk, everything else has kind of been average.
Yeah.
I mean, the Devin McCourty. But for the most part, Skip, he needs a lot to be this. But I guess when you hit the quarter, when you hit it out the park with 2 generational players at the tight end and quarterback,
that'll work.
We don't care. But look what else he drafted.
Okay, so we do have another 2 cases bet from earlier in this show.
Yeah, 97.
We said 8-8 was the benchmark, and I said I'll go under at 7-9. You went over at 9-7, and I love my chances of winning these 2 cases.
You see that look? You see when Coach Belichick looking like that?
Is that it?
That's a 9-7, 10-6 look.
That looks like that looks like a Subway commercial look. How dare you try to eat that whatever else you're right?
Coach Belichick got something. He's like, I'm gonna show you. And then I wouldn't be surprised when they hand him that trophy. Coach Belichick might take a shot at you know who. I wouldn't be surprised.
How many years away are we from that trophy presentation?
Might be sooner than you think.
Really?
You counting Coach Belichick out?
I am. I'm counting him out. I do not think Bill Belichick will win another Super Bowl.
Ever.
Ever.
I don't know about that, Skip.
It's hard to win a Super Bowl.
It is very hard.
And you better have the quarterback to take you home.
You need that guy.
I don't know if he'll ever find that guy.
Skip, see what you keep doing, you keep saying find that guy because you're comparing the guy that he might find next to the guy that he lost. Well, hell no.
But that's your life. That's what you benefited from it, and now you're going to be tormented by it, right?
Yeah. Can he find somebody to make him happy, get him a couple, win a couple of playoff games, say, just get me to the playoff?
I mean, he was pushing Jared Stidham. He was. Well, he was pushing him like he's my next Brady. And that didn't last long.
Nah.
Okay.
The guy that he really loved that got away was Jimmy G.
Okay. Well, there's a chance you could reacquire him.
That was his first love since Tommy.
He is almost certainly available, but can you fit both of these under? Again, that's a cap-friendly deal for Cam. Do you want both Cam and Jimmy G?
I don't know if I love him the same as he once did.
I don't think he would, because he's not that guy.
So.
Yep. That would have been the biggest mistake, to push Brady out the door before he would have won you 2 more Super Bowls, right?
Well, it was the Rams. So he'd have won 1 more.
Was it not Atlanta yet? No, it was before.
Yeah,
okay, I got it. It would have been 1 more Super Bowl. And he got you, he had already gotten you to the Phillies Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's when it, the Phillies.
It was that year.
That year.
Well, he still got them to the Super
there,
Bowl.
correct.
Okay. So he got you to 2 more and won 1.
1, correct.
After you tried to ship him out. Okay.
I don't know. I might
Way
have
to
to
go.
agree with Skip here. He's turning 69 in about a month. So how long does he plan on continuing to coach Shannon?
He's
How
out my
much time
outlast
does
Tommy.
he have here? Well,
He probably
he's
will.
going to try to outlast him.
He's trying to outlast Tommy.
No mercy. Georgetown got to the Big East tournament semifinals after Patrick Ewing led his alma mater to an upset win over top-seeded Villanova yesterday on FS1. It was one of the biggest wins of his coaching career, but after the game, he said that he felt disrespected by Madison Square Garden security in the arena where he became a legend playing for the Knicks. Take a listen.
I do want to say one thing, though. I thought this was my building, and I feel terrible that I'm getting stopped, accosted, asking for passes. Everybody in this building should know who the hell I am. And I'm getting stopped. I can't move around this building. Like I was like, what the hell? Is this Madison Square Garden?
Well, Shannon, in your opinion, does he have a right to be upset?
Yeah. Skip me the tallest coach in Big East history. He, like you said, he was a legend. The man averaged 23 and 10 in that very building for the Knicks over a 15-year career. Skip, that man faces his ID. Skip, when I go back to Denver, I've never paid a dime for a ticket. I walk straight in. Baltimore, the same thing. Hey, Shannon, how you doing? Skip, I've been retired 17 years and can go to Baltimore to the facility, to a game, and walk right in. My face is my ID. That man faces his ID. What the hell y'all think? A 7-foot guy lottery walked in off the street talking about he coached Georgetown? Man, this is ridiculous. Come on, Madison Square Garden. Come on, man. Give that probably little ass and say, man, you look like Patrick Ewing. Where your badge? Come on, man. Get a man more clout than that. He's earned that now. Come on.
Has he?
Yeah. Come on, Skip. I understand. Look, Skip, we can't base everything on championship. Patrick Ewing was a great player. He didn't win, but that doesn't take away in that building what he accomplished.
Okay, here's why this rubbed me the wrong way. And I honor what he has done for the Knicks in the distant past. And I honor the fact they pulled off a huge upset of Nova yesterday.
Yeah,
that was a big win for his program. They were 11 and 12 coming in, and it was a shocker. So he was feeling pretty good about himself, and he volunteered. I've been disrespected in my building.
Right.
Patrick, we're in a pandemic. We're still in the throes of it. And we have all kinds of new protocols and security people here at Fox. What happens when you walk down the hallway? We have all kinds of new security people every 15 feet, making sure that you're cleared to come through this zone of the building, right?
Yeah.
That's what's going on. He's not there for a Knicks game, so it could be completely different personnel, security personnel.
Get that man 7 foot tall. What the hell you think he is?
They're not basketball fans. He's not there for a Knicks game. They don't know. It's not like there are no fans in the building to start with, but it's not like people are screaming, Patrick.
Skip,
Nope, that's not happening.
I come in here every morning. I got a mask on. Hey, Shannon. Hey, Mr. Sharpe. How you doing? Good day.
It takes a while. Some of these people don't know who you are. They don't know who any of us are. So there are new people right outside this door right now that I see, and sometimes they change over to where I've never seen that person or that person. They don't know who I am. Maybe they do know you. You are just from football, but maybe they don't.
Skip, after 15 years, it's hard for me to believe that the people working at MSG don't know who Patrick Ewing is.
You don't think the security staff has turned over several times? He hasn't been a Knick for 21 years.
Yeah, exactly. 7 foot tall.
Okay. This is the Big East tournament. This is not a Knicks game.
And he's a legend in the Big East.
Okay. But some people, it doesn't matter how tall you are.
Skip, what the hell you think that man is? So let me ask you a question. You see Patrick Ewing at the Big East tournament. What do you think he is?
What do I think he is?
Yes.
I don't know. What, like an ex-basketball player?
Oh, so you don't think that's Patrick Ewing? You don't think he's a coach?
A lot of people just aren't sports fans. They don't know who he is. They can. You don't have to know Knicks history to get a job at Madison Square Garden.
You don't need to know Knicks history. I'm sure that people that's at the Broncos right now, security, they probably weren't there when I was there. Some of them were, some of them weren't.
The reason he's getting accosted is there are new security measures, new protocol, and it's all about COVID.
Do we got a mask on? If he got a mask on, man, Patrick, how you doing?
No, but you have to show your credential. You have to show that you're cleared to go through.
This is my credentials.
That's a little arrogant on your part.
That's my credentials.
Okay. All right. Well, sometimes some people here don't know who you are.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. A lot of people do know. When I go through the gate, a lot of people open the gate for me without even.
Well, no, they can't do that. They ain't following protocol. The protocol is you swipe your badge to get up out and get in here. Hold on.
By the way, Patrick Ewing, he won 0 MVPs.
I don't care.
Okay, I don't know. Is he Clyde Frazier to Knicks fans?
No.
To our guy Michael Rappaport? I don't think he's Clyde. Is he Willis Reed? I don't think so.
Skip.
Did he give you more frustration and disappointment than he gave you champion? He played in 1 finals and lost in Game 7.
No, actually played in 2 finals, 94 and 99.
No, but he tore his Achilles, so he wasn't able to play at 99.
So let me ask you a question. Was he an all-time great Knick?
Maybe that's by default. Well, seriously.
How is it by default?
What does he have to show for it? They won.
They didn't win any championships.
Okay, they didn't win anything.
So the only way you can be defined as an all-time great is to have won a championship.
Well, he's just being a little full of himself, given.
So let me ask you a question. So Karl Malone shouldn't be able to go. So Karl Malone got to show ID when he go to Utah to get in that state arena.
Okay, but what if that was the Pac-12 tournament or whatever?
Yeah.
Like it could be some other event going on in that same arena where maybe the new staff I
don't care if they got a country western or they got a monster truck pull.
Karl Malone did a lot more for Utah than Patrick Ewing has done for Madison.
I don't care what they got going on in Mile High, and I don't care what they got going on in M&T. If I show up, guess where I'm going? Inside.
Okay. Well, what if you show up at, what do they call the stadium now in Denver?
They call it I don't know what they call it. Yeah.
What if you show up at Mile High and it's a rodeo? Are they going to know Mr. Sharpe? I don't think so.
I bet y'all walk right up in there. Bet y'all walk right up in there.
Well, I don't know that you would. You might run into one guard who says, "Sir, I'm sorry, I cannot let you in. Do you know who I am?" "No, I don't, sir." But I know who the bull rider is, right?
I was saying, come right here. Let me show you something. You see that guy right there?
Yeah.
You see that crest right next to that Shannon Sharpe?
Yeah.
From 90 to 99, from 90 to 99?
Yeah.
In 02 to 03?
He would say,
on in here, Mr.
No, he'd say, "Sir, I don't know that I can believe you on that."
All I'm saying is this here. Mr. B told me, and then Mr. B called me to his office and say, "Hey, come back anytime you like." I said, "Mr. B, I don't have a card, I don't have a place." He said, "You'll face your ID." He said, "As long as I own this team, I own that facility, you come and go as you please." Mr. Art Modell told me the same thing. Steve Bisciotti took over. I go, Ozzy, "Hey, Shannon, how you doing?" If Ozzy in, I go right up to his office. From Brian Billick or John Harbaugh, any of them. Go anywhere, Skip. You're supposed to have that kind of credit. You're supposed to have that kind of cash. And that's Patrick Ewing.
Shannon, times change.
Ain't no time change. I'm going
Time
wherever.
fades.
Shannon's
I'm
going to
wherever.
the rodeo.
I'm going to rodeo, monster trucks, whatever.
I don't know.
I know.
You might get embarrassed.
Okay. I know that, the MSG security, they're just trying to do their job. I don't think anything was, intended here, but they should probably know who he is regardless.
No mercy.
Sunday on Fox, the best season ever continues in the desert as the NASCAR Cup Series heads to Phoenix for the Instacart 500. The action begins Sunday at 3:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. So Deshaun Watson may want out of Houston, but his new coach is echoing the Texans' stance that the QB isn't heading anywhere. Kind of, at least a little bit. During a podcast, David Culley said, quote, he is our starting quarterback as of right now. Things happen between now and then. We'll see what happens. Not exactly a vote of confidence, especially when the Rams said something similar about Jared Goff weeks before he was dealt to Detroit earlier this offseason. So, Shannon, does he really believe this, or is he just saying what he's been told to say here?
No. Because that's not as strong as what he was talking about when he first took the job.
So which way? You're saying he
don't believe what he's saying.
Oh, he know
Deshaun gone.
Okay.
Because as Jenny said, Les Need, the general manager of the Rams, said the exact same thing about Jared Goff. He's our quarterback right now. 2 weeks later, where's Jared Goff?
Okay, but Jared Goff did not want to leave.
Yeah.
Okay.
He said that's my quarterback right now.
Yeah.
That's what he said. He's the quarterback right now.
But obviously Deshaun badly wants
Deshaun's going to go.
Okay.
And he knows that. He's had a conversation with Deshaun. Deshaun made it clear to him that he doesn't want to be there. Skippy doesn't even believe that. He doesn't know why I took this job knowing that Deshaun's going to be our quarterback. You took the job because the job was offered. And what they offered him the job because they found out Deshaun was really upset. Because you were not going to get the job. Had Deshaun Watson not raised a stink about it, you weren't getting the job. So let's stop playing. David Culley, I think you might be a great head coach, but you only got this job because Deshaun Watson got upset because of what they did before they even gave you the job. So that's where they are. That's where he is on this situation. Deshaun Watson is packing up his bags to get up out of Houston. Now, I'm not saying he might not live in Houston at some point in time again, but he's not playing for the Texans.
So here's what's sad about this to me. And maybe I have a little more feeling for David Culley because he did play quarterback at my school, Vanderbilt. But that's beside this point. So think about the situation David Culley is in. He's 65 years old. He has toiled his whole life to get to this moment. He finally got maybe not the dream job, but a dream job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He got a head coaching job in the National Football League.
With what? A franchise quarterback.
Okay, he thought. Or thinks.
Yes.
Remember the dues this man has paid. He started out coaching at Austin Peay, and then he went to Tennessee State in Nashville, where he played Vanderbilt, coached briefly at Vanderbilt, UT Chattanooga, Southwest Louisiana, UTEP, Texas El Paso. And then he paid lots of dues in the National Football League. Bucks, Steelers, Eagles, Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. Longtime right-hand man of Andy Reid. He was Eric Bieniemy before Eric Bieniemy.
Correct.
It's a long time to wait and work for your dream job, and you finally get it. And obviously, we have to ask the questions about the Texans' motives. Did they go African-American just because they needed to?
Yeah.
They needed to show a, so to speak, different face than what they've been showing? Maybe.
Yeah.
Yet, by all accounts, David Culley is a good coach and a really good human. Good man with a big heart. So he finally gets this job, and he gets hit between the eyes with the fact that Shannon Sharpe is just beating the table on TV saying, I'm telling you, Deshaun is gone. You heard it here first. He is gone. And poor David Culley, the lone African-American coach hired in this cycle, now one of only 3 left. What are we doing?
Right.
Where are we going here? Mike Tomlin, Brian Flores, David Culley. And
Skip, I do feel bad for
suddenly
him.
he's on the hottest seat because the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe say you're going to lose your quarterback.
Skip, I do feel bad for him because he gets his first crack at a job, and normally what happens is they get these jobs, and they don't really have a good quarterback, and so it's hard for them to keep the job.
Correct.
He got a job with a franchise quarterback, and the franchise quarterback doesn't want to be there. So
and now he's thinking in the back of his mind, I could get stuck with Sam Darnold next year and a bunch of draft picks that won't help me next year.
Exactly.
Right?
Because they're going to expect me to win. I mean, by the time these draft picks get good, hell, I'm going to be up out of here.
He'll be up out of here.
So
it's a terrible situation for him.
I feel bad.
And then the final irony is his franchise quarterback, I think he's at least the second best quarterback in pro football is Deshaun Watson, and he happens to be African-American. So it has to, listen, I believe in Deshaun. I believe in his heart. You know, somewhere in the bottom of his heart, it hurts him a little bit that he's going to have to leave him high and dry, right?
Deshaun is probably looking at it. My love possibly for David Culley doesn't outweigh my disdain for Cal McNair. So I got to go. I can't be around you.
Okay, so in the end, I still believe the Texans are going to dig in, and it's going to have nothing to do with David Culley. He'll have no input into this decision. The McNair family, Cal McNair, obviously Robert McNair used to own, not with us anymore. But I'm going to remind everybody, Robert was the one who got quoted, and it was behind closed doors, as saying, we can't let the inmates run, he said, the prison, right? Can't let the inmates run the prison. And it leaked out through, I think, the New York Times. And it hurt this franchise because Dwayne Brown said, I'm gone. You got to get me out of here. And they did. They sent him to Seattle. And that stigma has hung over this franchise up to now. So now, if I'm reading, I told you yesterday, I believe that the McNair family and Nick Caserio, the new GM, will just dig in and say, no, we just gave you a year ago a big new deal. What is it, like 6 years?
4 years, $156 million.
Okay, all right. It's one of those sort of lifetime deals, and they're saying, well, we're going to uphold our end of the bargain. Will you?
He said, you also gave me your word.
I agree.
That in the hiring practices that you would keep me abreast of what was going on.
That is true.
He tweeted out, I value loyalty above everything.
That is correct.
Don't forget that.
And they hired a search firm that identified 2 minority candidates, and no, Deshaun had no input, and they didn't hire either one of those recommended, right? Nick Caserio. So they went back to the same well that got them Bill O'Brien from Bill Belichick's tree.
And then they seem to be listening to the guy that was the chaplain at New England. I forget his name.
I know. He's
Easterby.
He's on the
Easterby.
Easterby. Yeah, he's on the staff.
Right.
Correct.
And they seem to be, Cal McNair seems to be taking all the heavily influenced by what he says and how they did things in New England. And it's like, okay, I'm going to let y'all have New England Southwest. But I'm just not going to be a part of it. You told me this is what we're going to do. We agreed. You looked me in my eyes and said, hey, Deshaun, I'm going to keep you abreast of what's going on.
So if you want the ugliest scenario of all for poor David Culley, it would be if they say, no, we're not going to trade you. You'll just have to sit. And Deshaun, knowing his pride and principle, says, okay, I sit. And David Culley has nobody. He doesn't even get the trade back for Deshaun, right?
The last time we saw this, remember what Carson Palmer said? Mike Brown said, we're not trading you. Carson Palmer said, okay, you can keep me. I retired. And guess what they ended up doing? Trading to the Raiders.
How long after that?
It wasn't long.
It wasn't long.
Exactly.
But we've also seen other players here recently be forced to sit for the year.
Yeah, I'll sit for a year. But you're not, my services will no longer be rendered to you. So it might take a month, 2 months, 6 months, it might take a year. But once you come to the realization that this car is not going to be driving down the highway with you, you'll come to your senses and you'll move on. And we'll both be better for it.
So David Culley is going to have to pay for the huge mistake of getting rid of or trading DeAndre Hopkins, and then J.J. Watt just sort of hit the wall, and they finally said, we'll let you go.
Right. And it's funny how that works, though. Oh, J.J., you know what? We want J.J. to go and let him go. But Deshaun Watson said, nah, we're going to hold on to you.
no mercy.
We are a week away from the NCAA tournament tipping off, and for Neil Powerhouse, Kentucky won't be in attendance. John Calipari's squad was a preseason top 10 team, but finished the season 9-16 after losing in the SEC tournament yesterday. And on top of that, Kentucky hasn't even made the Final Four since 2015, its longest drought since the early 2000s. So, Shannon, what is going on here?
Well, the Blue Bloods have struggled this year, Skip. Duke's not going to make the tournament, and it's not because of COVID. Duke wasn't making the tournament anyway. Michigan State.
Duke had sort of come alive, but go ahead.
They were 13-11. They would have to win the tournament in order to get in. Michigan State have struggled. Carolina got up to a slow start. So the Blue Bloods have struggled, especially those that rely heavily on one and done.
It's hard, man.
It's hard to get those one and done. That's why you see the Gonzagas. They don't have a lot of one and dones. You see the Baylors. You see the teams that we don't, the Michigans. Illinois is up there now.
That's true.
Ohio State.
Yep.
But the teams that rely heavily on one and dones, Duke, Kentucky, Michigan State, they're struggling this year. And so that might be a sign of things to come. But I don't know how you turn them away. Skip, you don't turn Kyrie, go, nah, I ain't gonna get you, I don't want you, Kyrie, because you're gonna be one and done. Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, Karl Anthony Towns, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker. How do you tell those guys no, Skip, because they're one and done?
I agree. Look, I love Coach Cal just because I enjoy being around him. But I really love his interviews because he'll just trash his team publicly. Yeah. I don't want to associate with them. I don't want to look at them. I don't want to talk to them. Well, you can get away with that kind of behavior towards your one and dones when, go back to 2017, De'Aaron Fox went 5th overall. The year before, Jamal Murray went 7th overall. KAT, he went 1st overall in 2015. Then we got Julius Randle and AD and MKG went that draft, and then Wall and Cousins. You can get away with... you guys, you just go do it yourself, man, because they can do it pretty much by themselves because they're just better than everybody else. But lately, they've had Kevin Knox and Shai Gilgeous, who was still, he became a better pro, Malik Monk, and P.J. Washington and Tyler Hero. They weren't good enough to get you home with just rolling the ball out there.
They said, look, let's get them in the close ball game, late in the ball game, and see how they function, not having played together like our sophomores and juniors have. And that's what teams do. They get them in close ball games like yesterday, Skip, and they fell apart.
It looks different. Guys, that is it for Undisputed. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy Shannon watching LeBron back in action.
Oh, go tonight.
He's going to play?
30-point triple-dub.